Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
And by Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Learn more at brome.com.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to our show number 977. If you're listening on the March 17th date live, happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Well, you've heard us talk about the fact that a lot of folks don't think birds should be named for people, especially when some of those people have some troubling life stories. And many name changes reflecting that sentiment will soon be underway. Meanwhile, something similar is happening with the names of birding groups and organizations. And we'll learn about one such group on today's show. We've been getting a lot of audio postcards from the very birdy state of Florida. And today, thanks to Carrie McLaury, we'll have another one. We have it right now from the Sunshine State.
Hi, Ray. This is Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
I'm recording from the Circle B Bar Reserve in Florida. It's the Polk Nature Center. We're next to a lake amongst a bunch of trees draped in Spanish moss, and there's a cacophony of palm warblers and yellow-rumped warblers chirping away. And overhead, we've probably seen about 50 fish crows fly over. There's also been osprey, bald eagles, and snowy egrets, among some other excellent birds. And that was an anhinga squawking from his perch on a branch over the lake. All right, happy birding.
Happy birding, and thank you to you, Carrie. Carrie included a note with her audio saying that she took her trip to Florida before starting her new job at Beverly Public Library in Massachusetts, and that in Florida she added 27 birds to her life list. Carrie's husband, Jeremy Nault, has sent us a couple of audio postcards, and we're hoping he'll send us another one from Australia when he travels there in June. Well, last fall, your humble host completed an online course from Bennington College in Vermont called Beyond Plastic Pollution. The leader of the course, which will be offered again this spring, more about that in a moment, is Judith Enck, a professor at the college and the leader of a group called Beyond Plastics, whose goal is to end plastic pollution. One sort of personal note she shared with our class was that she would never eat microwave popcorn. It's not that she doesn't like microwave popcorn. It's because the insides of those shopping bags, or popping bags, I should say, are coated with PFAS, also known as forever chemicals, that have been associated with numerous human health issues. Those chemicals prevent the oil from leaking out of the bag and keep the popcorn from sticking to the inside of the bag. Well, I'm happy to report that the Food and Drug Administration has what sounds like good news in this area, even as the European Union announced a ban on these chemicals in food packaging, as we reported last week. The FDA has announced that substances containing PFAS used as grease-proofing agents on paper and paperboard for food contact use are no longer being sold by manufacturers in the U.S. market. Back in 2020, the FDA initiated a voluntary phase-out of some PFAS for use in food contact packaging, and they say that that phase-out is now complete. Some folks, like our friend Judith, are taking a wait-and-see attitude about this, but it does seem like a positive step. about that Bennington College course for anyone who'd like to learn more about plastic pollution, what's being done about it, and what can be done about it. I really recommend this class, Beyond Plastic Pollution. It's an online class Wednesday evenings, 7 to 9 Eastern, from April 17th to May 29th. It is a real eye-opener in explaining the enormity of the problem, who's most responsible for the problem, looking at you, oil industry, and what we could all do about it. Here's the website that provides all the details for this wonderful course, beyondplastics.org. That's beyondplastics.org. As we get ready to preview today's Mystery Bird Contest, here's something we just don't emphasize frequently enough, and that is that no matter where you are on the planet, you can listen to Talkin' Birds live online. Very easy to do. Just go to talkinbirds.com and click on the Listen button, and then choose Listen Live Online. That's the Listen button at talkinbirds.com. And just a reminder that our show streams live on Sunday mornings at 9:30 Eastern. That bird you hear will be part of our Mystery Bird Contest. In fact, the very focus of it, this is a preview of the contest coming on along in just a little bit. It's a medium-sized songbird. It has dark wings with bright wing bars, a dark tail, and a kind of an all-purpose bill. The male has a mostly orange-red head and yellow underparts. The female is greenish-yellow and lacks the red on the head. Our bird, which feeds mostly by gleaning insects from foliage, is found mostly in the West, breeding well up into Canada and wintering in Mexico. That's our bird, clues, and the sound, and 2 spectacular prizes for the winner of our contest, either by getting the right answer or by a drawing that will determine our winner if no one gets the right answer. From Brome Bird Care, a mega 600 feeder with an extra-large tube that holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed. It has all the features you would want in a bird feeder, including a lifetime care warranty. From Fresh Cut Paper, makers of beautiful life-sized pop-up floral bouquets that are wilt-proof and crafted to last a lifetime. We have a certificate for 5 of those beautiful bouquets, all on our Mystery Bird Contest this morning. We love our ambassadors. Who are they? They're Talkin' Birds listeners who step up and help us spread the word about birds and conservation. That's what we're trying to do here, the wonder of birds and the importance of conservation. You can become an ambassador at talkinbirds.com, that same website there, and just go to the Get Involved button, and that's what Red from Dallas, Texas did. Thank you so much, Red. Red says, I've been a bird nerd for 30 years. My spark bird was the northern mockingbird, and they've always been my favorite. I've been lucky to have a bachelor sing through the night outside my bedroom. The neighbors disagree. All right, Red, love those mockingbirds, and thank you again for becoming a Talkin' Birds ambassador. Talkinbirds.com, under the Get Involved button, is where to sign up. Still to come today, we'll welcome the executive director of a great birding organization that's been around for about 105 years and learn why the group has a new name. Also today, Mike O'Connor will join us for a Let's Ask Mike segment, almost live from the archive, about birds on wires. And up next, a bird whose genus name, Numenius, or of the new moon, refers to the slender, curved shape of its bill, is today's featured feathered friend.
Today's featured feathered friend has had a lot of places named for it, from a lake and a valley in the Dakotas to a point and a ballpark in San Francisco. Those last 2 places are named Candlestick, for a bird whose bill reminded somebody of that item to give it its Candlestick Bird nickname. The bird is the long-billed curlew, the largest shorebird in North America, almost 2 feet in length, with mottled brown upper parts, buff brown underparts with dark spots and streaks, long bluish-gray legs, and that outlandishly long, thin, curving bill that gives it another, maybe more descriptively appropriate nickname, the sickle bird. Male and female long-billed curlews are almost identical, although females do have a longer bill with a more dramatic curve at the tip. This bird breeds from southern Canada to northern California and down into Texas, and winters across many parts of the southern U.S. and Mexico. On its wintering grounds, it feeds by probing with that super long bill deep into mud and sand for aquatic invertebrates, and in its breeding territory, it forages for insects, especially grasshoppers. A group of curlews has many collective names, including a game, a salon, a skein, and a curfew of curlews. Today's featured feathered friend, Numenius americanus, the long-billed curlew.
Welcome again to our show, number 977. Well, the name Audubon has been inextricably connected to many birding groups for many years, but the name Audubon has become increasingly controversial to the point where a number of affiliated and independent Audubon groups are dropping that name and choosing another. One of those groups was known as Detroit Audubon, and it is now the Detroit Bird Alliance. To tell us about their decision to make that change is Detroit Bird Alliance Executive Director Gretchen Abrams. Good morning, Gretchen.
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for being with us. So yours is one of a number of groups, Gretchen, divesting yourselves of the name Audubon. What can you tell us about your group's decision to do that?
Well, I can tell you that we started having discussions in fall of 2022. Mm-hmm. And at that time, as an organization, we knew that National was about to make a decision for themselves in March or after their February board meeting, and we decided to sort of wait to see if they took the lead. Mm-hmm. In March, when they made their announcement that they were going to keep the name, we decided to pursue a new name. So we were disappointed, but we moved forward, and about 1 year later, September 2023, we decided to change our name to Detroit Bird Alliance.
So were you expecting that National Audubon would change their name too? Was that a surprise?
I think we kind of felt like they were laying the foundation for that for many years of bringing attention to this situation where Audubon's history is less than favorable, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And, you know, from, I think 2017, Drew Lanham was a speaker at conferences, written many articles on their website, sort of highlighting this issue. So I don't want to say we expected it, but kind of felt like they were kind of laying that foundation, and we hoped.
You hoped. Okay. Well, Detroit Audubon has been around for a long time, since 1919, and if I'm not mistaken, the only modification of the name was in 2013 when the word society was dropped from the title. So this is a big change. What can you tell us more, Gretchen, about the issue itself and why you were convinced to change the name, or your group was?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. One, Detroit carries a great brand on its own, right? A storied history here in this city, a city that is made up of 85% people of color, and a city that sits on two flyways, pretty major, or actually important bird area, an IBA. We just kind of felt like we were hearing from the people, as we reached out, as we did educational programs, as we built partnerships, we realized how many people had no idea what Audubon meant. So we felt it was very important to put the minimum, a bird in our name. And
why Alliance? And as a follow-up to that, what's been the response to the change?
Yeah. So Alliance, we wanted to make sure that we conveyed this message to our constituents, our members, that we still are a network of people across the nation working towards, bird preservation and conservation. So that was important to us, also to align with other organizations that had the same viewpoint as we did. So that was really important to us. And we met with organizations around the Great Lakes area at first to discuss the common name prior to all of us making decisions internally to change.
Could you tell us quickly what your thoughts might be about the idea of bird names changing? That's another big effort underway.
Yeah. Well, what I can say about that is that we're definitely in favor of any honorifics being a thing of the past. Just as we know, future learners can better ID birds with traits, characteristics, and geographic location. To us, it makes more sense. We're looking forward to seeing what those name changes will be.
Indeed, that'll be happening, I think, pretty soon anyway, at least with one group of birds to start. Well, Gretchen, while we have you here, let us save a little bit of time here for you to tell us about Detroit birding, or now the Detroit Bird Alliance, and some of the things you're doing in the city. Detroit is known for birding, but you're taking advantage really of, among other things, a lower population in the city, right?
Right. So Detroit is a unique city. If you're not familiar with our history, there is about 60-year history of depopulation. So a city built for 2 million people now is home to about 600,000. That leaves a lot of underused, unused, and vacant property. Parks, 300 parks that are not fully used to their potential. And our biggest project, what we're most excited to share with you and everyone about, is our Detroit Bird City project. It's a project where we're working with the City of Detroit's Parks and Recreation. We're working with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Michigan State University, among others. And we're converting this unused park space into intentional meadows, we call them, and where we're creating pathways and interpretive signs. But really the primary focus is incredible habitat for birds as they pass through this flyway, having some green corridor or stopover points. And I can just share one example of how that has really helped birds. One park that started out as just 2 acres of meadow and now expanded to 4 acres. In the past 5 years, we've been able to document 110 different species in a 2 to 4 acre plot. So we know it works, and we're pretty excited about expanding this project. So
that is just wonderful. You're doing a lot of wonderful stuff there, and I'm sure an inspiration, Gretchen, for other groups around the country, for sure. How do folks keep after you? I know you're making some changes in your website right now, but
yeah, you can always go to our website. We'll keep updates there, but as we're changing our name, it's a big undertaking. We're still a small nonprofit, making our way with volunteers and a smaller budget to make these changes. So you can still visit us at DetroitAudubon.org and find us there and look for our new website coming soon. Thank you so much for asking, Ray.
You're very welcome. Gretchen Abrams is the director of the Detroit Bird Alliance, formerly Detroit Audubon. Gretchen, thank you, and keep up that wonderful work you're doing there. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me, Ray. Take care.
Gretchen Abrams here on Talkin' Birds, and up next, it's our Mystery Bird contest in just 1 minute.
The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com.
Our mystery bird there. The contest is underway. Please don't delay. Call us as soon as you can. Tell us what the bird is or take your guess. No correct answer means we'll do a drawing for the winner. It's a medium-sized songbird. It has dark wings with bright wing bars, a dark tail, and kind of an all-purpose bill. The male has a mostly orange-red head, a flame effect it's sometimes described as, and yellow underparts. The female is greenish-yellow and lacks the red on the head. Our bird, which feeds mostly by gleaning insects from foliage, is found mostly in the west, breeding well up into Canada and wintering in Mexico. That's our mystery bird. Tell us what it is or take your guess at this number, 781-837-4900. That's 781-837-4900. Prizes from Brome Bird Care. The Mega 600 feeder with an extra large tube holds nearly 2.5 pounds of seed. It also includes the Brome seed ventilation system to keep the seed cool and dry, which is kind of important. From Fresh Cut Paper, makers of beautiful life-size pop-up floral bouquets that are wilt-proof and crafted to last a lifetime and really gorgeous. It's a certificate for 5 Fresh Cut Paper bouquets. You will love them. 781-837-4900 is the number to call on our Mystery Bird Contest. I think we've given the clues and the sound, and those are the prizes. I think we got it covered there. So now it's up to you. 781-837-4900. Meanwhile, almost live from the archive. And this was, by the way, at a time when daylight saving time had just gone into effect that day, by way of explaining why Mike is commenting on daylight saving time, now that we're a little bit past the change. Anyway, let's ask Mike in just 1 minute.
Welcome to a world where bird feeding is enjoyable for both you and your feathered friends. Introducing Squirrel Buster Bird Feeders by Brome. Our innovative feeders are designed to keep squirrels at bay, ensuring that your garden birds get their fair share. And the best part? We offer lifetime care for every feeder, making your purchase worry-free. Transform your garden into a bird paradise and keep it that way forever. Sorry, squirrels, it's just for the birds this time. Visit Brome.com, BROME.com, to discover our full range of Squirrel Buster feeders and join the Brome family today. Brome, where birds come first, and our commitment to you lasts a lifetime.
Well, Bird on a Wire is a Mel Gibson movie, the Joe Cocker song, and believe it or not, it's also the topic of our Let's Ask Mike segment this morning. At least I think so. We'll check with Mike and see if that's correct. Good morning, Mike.
Oh, my God, I'm still in bed, Ray. Why did they change the clocks? Why do they keep doing this?
What time is it anyway?
It's like 4 in the morning, it seems. I have no idea. This is just... Why do they... We can't agree on anything, but they can change the clocks whenever they want. I don't get that.
Well, we just had Jane Kim on. She's in California, so it's a lot earlier for her out there.
I guess I should stop complaining.
Yeah, so
and I've seen that wall she did in Cornell and Ithaca. That's unbelievable.
It is really fantastic.
It is. I went over and with a Sharpie. I was going to highlight where my store was, but my wife wouldn't let me do that.
Yeah, that's frowned upon. You will never be able to enter the Cornell Lab Visitor Center again.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're talking about wires today. The power lines that we put up to give us all our electricity, birds, like a lot of times, take advantage of what we offer them. So birds of prey, like eagles and ospreys, will build their nests on them. Hawks will use the poles. We see the red-tailed hawks looking for prey all the time. We see bluebirds on the wires looking for crickets down below and the grasses down below. And the swallows in the fall, it's a long ways from fall now, but the swallows use those to gather up before they head south. So they're all it's a good thing, but on the same token, they're a problem. The birds, the little birds don't seem to have a problem. And I know when I was a kid, I think we all thought, how come that, my parents would tell me, don't touch that, you'll get electrocuted. Well, how come the birds do it? Well, because the birds don't complete the circuit, so if they stay on one wire, they're fine.
But the big birds, that's different.
That's
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's much different. And for some reason, it took us a while to figure that out, and I think we're still figuring it out. A lot of places where the large birds, condors, had a trouble with that early on, and golden and bald eagles still having trouble with that, and then even ospreys, because if they fly through the wires and they make contact, it's not good. You had that smell of barbecue in the air, and that's not good for the birds. And also or if they land on the pole and they make contact. So the power companies are going through another problem I forgot to mention was the birds' just collisions with the wires, whether they get electrocuted or not. When they get fog and they fly through and they hit the guy wires or they hit the wires themselves, it's a problem. So the power companies, in an effort to be good citizens and also in an effort to keep themselves from having to climb up and fix these poles constantly, a lot of the bird conservation groups have asked them to separate the wires maybe further so the birds can't make contact. I think it's like 60 feet. They encourage them to spread them apart, and or the top of the poles they put these barriers so the birds can't build their nests on them or light on them, or they have these markers, these spinners. Sometimes I never even knew what they were for. That's how dumb I am. I would see these spinners and these balls on the wires, and I thought, well, maybe that's for planes and stuff. But it's actually for the birds. So the birds notice these things while they're migrating or they're just flying from point A to point B so they don't smack into these wires. But the birds like them. I know over here in Orleans, in the big city of Orleans, there's a pond where the power lines cross, and for the last couple of decades, the cormorants, the double-crested cormorants in the summer, would roost on these, and I think it was kind of a, welcome to Orleans. You go by this whole thing of black.
That was a big issue down there, was it not, or is it still?
Oh, they claim they've moved the lines that the birds have used finally. We'll see what happens when the birds return. We'll see if it's an issue. They think they fixed it, but they've said that a couple of times. They used to go out with guys with shotguns, blank shotguns to scare them off, but they think they fixed it, so stay tuned for that exciting story when it comes to make the return in the spring.
All right, have you seen the Mel Gibson movie, Bird on a Wire?
I'm going to watch it right after this.
I'm going to listen to the Joe Cocker song. All right. Talk to you next week, Mike.
Sounds great, man.
All right, that was Mike from the archive. We'll have to check back on that cormorant story. That was a while ago, but we'll see what the update is on that. Meanwhile, back to the mystery bird contest. We'll hear the bird one more time here. Beautiful prizes from Brome Bird Care and fresh cut paper. Our bird is a medium-sized songbird, dark wings, bright wing bars, a dark tail, all-purpose bill. The male has a mostly orange-red head and yellow underparts. And we have a call from Canada. Matthias is up there in Quebec. Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. I don't know to say, we never know if we should say Quebec or we should say Quebec, as we say down here. What do you recommend?
Quebec.
Quebec. All right. Quebec it is. That's settled. Now, what about the mystery bird? What do you say that is?
I'd say it's a western tanager.
I would say that is correct. From eastern Quebec all the way to the west. Western tanager is correct. Matthias, thank you so much. We're short on time, so stay on the line, and Jesse will get your info.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthias in Quebec, correctly identifying the western tanager. Over the past 4 weeks, we've made each winner of our Mystery Bird contest eligible for a very special drawing, the winner of which we're about to announce. Folks could have won the individual weekly contest with the correct answer or through a drawing. In this drawing for beautiful optic, the Vortex Viper HD 8x42 binocular has revealed the winner's name as Lauren McAndrews from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Lauren, our friends from Vortex. We'll be sending you that beautiful binocular very soon. And guess what? We are out of time for today's show. Thanks for being with us, and see you next week.
The bird show. I like that. I must.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics. With the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
And by Brome, where bird feeding meets innovation. Discover truly squirrel-proof bird feeders, all backed by lifetime care commitment. Learn more at brome.com.